Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to the Fragrance Well. So today we are going to be talking about a particular classification of fragrance, and that's going to be spices and woods. Spices and woods and fragrances, I mean, it's like peanut butter and jelly. The combination just goes well together, which is why we often see them used together. And the best part about it is there's obviously tons of different types of spices. There's tons of different types of woody profiles. So that makes the very classification in and of itself something that is very versatile. It's not going to get boring because they're not all the same. And I think I've got that represented in the fragrances featured in today's video. We got 10 fragrances here that feature spices and woods in a variety of ways. Some of these fragrances, the spices and woods, is more so at the forefront of the fragrance, and other ones, a little bit more of a supporting role, but they all do feature spices and woods to varying degrees. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And of course, I will leave links to the fragrances down in the description below. Let's get into it. All right, we're going to kick it off with one from Arabian Oud. This is going to be Arabian Knight. Arabian Oud, Arabian Knight. And this fragrance here definitely features some spice and woods. Does have some other supporting actors though, if you will. There's definitely a very prominent, really smooth rose in this. I love the opening of this scent. It opens with this very nice lemongrass-like accord. But overall, you get a lot of cinnamon in this fragrance. Cinnamon, obviously a very popular spice profile. And then there's a really nice smooth cedar wood in this. Also something that is heavily used in fragrance, but not all cedar woods necessarily smell alike. Depending on what they're paired with, they can come across a little bit different. But if we're being fair, in general, cedar wood is kind of like a baseline woody note, or at least one of them, should I say. But very well done in this scent. This scent has a very kind of daily wear upscale profile without it being over the top, if that makes sense. Could be a signature scent for some. Does have a little bit of a Middle Eastern flair to it, but it is very, very wearable, very, very pleasant fragrance that, again, features spices and woods in a very nice way. Once again, from Arabian Oud, this one here is Arabian Knight. All right, guys, next one's going to be coming from Jazada, and this is Ambassador Intense. Jazada Ambassador Intense. Now, Ambassador is the one that kind of gets all the shine, I think even more so than this, but I wanted to feature this one because the spice profile is much more complex in this scent and frankly much more prominent, where Ambassador, a little bit more fruity overall. This one, again, it's an assortment of spices. I mean, you get clove-like spices in here, nutmeg, cinnamon, probably some other spices featured. It's a very like heavy spicy scent. Kind of licorice forward, has that quality to it. Some might compare it a little bit to like Sauvage Elixir to an extent. Woodiness here, again, it's just kind of a present woodiness. I don't really pick out anything in particular. I know teak wood was used in the original. I feel like I get some of that in this one too, but also much more going on in this fragrance as well. You got fruity notes, an assortment of florals as well. So again, spices and woods, definitely something that is prominent in this scent, but not the only thing. It is definitely a supporting role overall with the makeup of this fragrance that is a little bit complex, but I would say spices probably take the cake in this one over the woods, but there's no denying it. Spices and woods play a key role into what this scent is. So once again, from Jazada, this is Ambassador Intense. All right, guys, next one's going to be coming from Mind Games, and this is going to be Scholar's Mate. Mind Games, Scholar's Mate. So with this one, heavy focus on vetiver and cedar, says it right there on the front of the bottle. This one kind of has some reminiscent characteristics to Santal 33, but it definitely walks its own path because Santal 33 is not as smoky, not as aggressive as this one, and I don't remember that really having a whole lot of spice in it. Spice profile on this, definitely more clove forward. It's kind of a hot, peppery spice, not really warm and inviting, kind of like cinnamon would be. This one, yeah, definitely more of a kind of a dry, heat inspired spice, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I like to think of clove, or I'm sorry, not clove, pimento in here. Pimento spice. That's what I get from this. Also, this one features an interesting extraction method using vetiver that I can't remember the exact breakdown of what it was, but it was some kind of double extraction method that kind of made the vetiver extremely smoky, extremely woody. You definitely can experience that in the scent from top to bottom. That's like the heavy base note of this scent that gives it a smoky characteristic, but also a very distinct woody characteristic. So spicy and woody, as well as you could say green. There's also like an interesting note of fig milk in this. That's kind of the overall picture you get from the scent, but spices and woods definitely play a key role into how this scent comes together. Once again, from Mind Games, this is Scholar's Mate. All right, guys, next one's gonna be coming from Creed, and it's going to be Oud Zarian. Creed Oud Zarian. As you guys know, this is the latest release from Creed, very much anticipated release to see, you know, what they were gonna do with it. I was so moved by the scent when I sampled it, as you saw in that little breakdown video I did, if you did watch it, that I went on ahead and purchased this. I think the scent is awesome. Now, in terms of what we're talking about in the video, spices and woods, this one absolutely has that. Overall, it's like a spicy oud rose fragrance, and you do get rose, don't get me wrong, but the spices in this, especially when you first spray it, are like slapping you in the face. This, I've never smelled every single Creed fragrance, but we know Creed in general, at least, you know, as of today, not really known for high performing fragrances. This one here may be nuclear. I wore this a couple of days ago, and I only sprayed 3 sprays, and frankly, I thought I had oversprayed it. It just was slapping my nose, and it would not stop. I actually moved away from the people I was sitting by because I felt like I might have been choking them out. They didn't say anything, and I don't know for sure. It may have just been my nose picking it up that way, but good grief, this stuff pushes and it lasts. But you definitely get this very heavy spice profile right up front. It has this really kind of deep barky woodiness. I think the oud in here is pushing that characteristic, but there's also a lot of resins, I think, kind of playing into that, giving it this very earthy, very grounded smell to it, and a little bit smoky as well. The spice profile here, it's like a blend. It makes me think nutmeg, cinnamon like spice. There's also a lot of licorice in this, kind of playing into that, which I didn't really pick up when I sampled it, but I can smell it from the smell bottle, the spray bottle, if you will. But yeah, spicy, woody overall characteristic you're getting from this. There is some sweet notes in there as well to kind of counter some of the smokiness I get from it. But if you're a fan of oud rose fragrances that really push on the spice and it's not completely saffron, which is usually what it is, this one may be worth checking out. But no doubt about it, spice and woods, heavy part of the makeup of this fragrance, especially when you first spray it. Once again, coming from Creed, this is Oud Zarian. All right, guys, next one's going to be coming from Parfums de Marly, and this is Haltane. Parfums de Marly, Haltane. Now, I'm going to backtrack a little bit here. Somebody in my little Creed breakdown video asked me to compare that to Oud for Greatness. Now, I don't own Oud for Greatness, but I'm very familiar with the smell because I had a sample a long time ago and I used up a lot of it. And this is the closest thing I have to that. Let me just say, for that person who asked, they're both spicy and woody for sure, but I think they're just completely different styles of fragrance. You know, Oud for Greatness, a little bit more focused on saffron. That's certainly the case with Haltane. And the woody breakdown is a lot smoother, a lot more easy on the nose, where the Oud Zarian, I think kind of just punches you in the nose a little bit more. It's a more aggressive woody characteristic, and it has rose, where this does not have rose, neither does Oud for Greatness. And the rose is very noticeable, especially once the fragrance dries down. Anyway, with this, saffron, as I already noted, that's the heaviest spice I'm getting from this. There may be some other spices in this as well. The woody profile, again, is very synonymous with an Oud for Greatness, where it's kind of a westernized oud, in my opinion, where it's like a neutral oud. It doesn't really lean too heavily in either direction, just gives you a really nice woodiness with an exotic feel to it. Also, I think cedar wood is very heavily used as a woody note in this too. Supporting notes, there's like lavender in this. There's some slightly warm gourmand elements. I think a note of praline was used in this or something of that nature. So that is a part of the overall scent makeup as well. Also, some other aromatic notes in this too, but the spicy woodiness in this is definitely noticeable. You're gonna notice that saffron. You're definitely gonna get the woody base of it. So this is a great spicy woody fragrance profile. Once again, from Parfums de Marly, this is Haltane. Okay, the next one's gonna be coming from Francesca Bianchi, and this is Lost in Heaven. Francesca Bianchi, Lost in Heaven. The overall style of this scent is going to be a little bit of that old school feel, a little bit more mature smelling, kind of smells like a night out fragrance for somebody in the 80s. That's how I like to describe it. It makes me think of scents like Jacquard Noir, but it doesn't smell like Jacquard Noir. It just makes me think of scents like that. It smells like something I feel like my grandfather would have worn. Heavy spice profile here, collection of spices. Once again, not one in particular sticks out. So again, you're just getting a full-blown spicy accord. Definitely has woody elements to it. Kind of the same thing. Nothing really sticks out to it, but it does kind of have that hair on your chest kind of feel to it. It has some of those older, really heavier notes like castoreum and cistus, giving you that spicy floral element. There's definitely some florals in here. There's some resins in this fragrance. So it's a complex scent that is heavy and again feels kind of mature. Not going to be for everybody, but you definitely get a really good representation of a blend of spices and woods in this with some supporting notes. So once again, from Francesca Bianchi, this is Lost in Heaven. All right, next one's going to be coming from Roja Parfums, and this is Danger Parfum pour Homme. Roja Parfums Danger Parfum pour Homme. Now, I do know that this was one of the fragrances that got discontinued from the Roja line, but I think you can still find them. I don't think they're just completely gone. Danger Parfum pour Homme in particular was not one of the most popular ones out of the ones that have been discontinued, so I don't mind featuring it in this video. And also I feel it's necessary to feature it because when you talk about spice and wood in terms of makeup of a scent, it's heavily used in this. This fragrance is basically lemon and lavender with a massive blend of spices and woods. Nothing in particular really sticks out. It's like a spice accord and a wood accord that's very, very complex. You get so much out of the scent, it's hard for me to really pick out anything. I mean, there may be stuff like clove, maybe cinnamon is in here in terms of the woods. I'd bet it's kind of a blend of all of them. You probably got cedar, you probably got sandalwood, you probably got other just earthy notes, vetiver and woody notes and stuff like that. But it all just kind of comes together to basically smell like Danger Parfum pour Homme. This is actually my first ever Roja. I really, really like this fragrance. I'm glad I do have a bottle of it, but I can understand why they maybe wanted to move on from this scent in terms of discontinuing it. Again, I don't think this one was necessarily one of the more popular ones, but it's a great masculine scent. Kind of feels like it's a little bit more of a dressed up vibe. I don't see myself wearing this on a daily basis, and I don't think most people felt the same way, but great spice and woody notes in this one for sure. Once again, from Roja Parfums, this is Danger Parfum pour Homme. All right, moving on. Next one's going to be coming from Dar Al Tib. This is Noon. Dar Al Tib Noon. Now, the entire focal point of this scent is actually sandalwood. And let me tell you, it is a great representation of sandalwood in a very luxurious way. But there's other stuff in this. Number one, there is definitely spice in this. I believe the listed note is like ginger and cardamom. You can easily smell the cardamom in here. The ginger maybe adding a little bit of a sparkly feel to the scent. And there's also not just sandalwood. I get a very clear oud in this fragrance, especially when you first spray it. It's a little bit of that kind of earthy barnyard kind of oud, especially if you spray it really, really heavy. Doesn't really smell fecal, doesn't smell pissy or poopy or anything, but it's definitely noticeable. And then the sandalwood, you know, creamy, clean, blonde wood. It's represented in here in a way that I just haven't smelled in any other fragrance. And there may even be some cedar notes, but it's definitely a spicy, woody scent because, like I said, the cardamom is undeniable. Even though if you look up the notes for it, it's like sandalwood and that's it. But on the box, it lists some of the other elements in the fragrance as well. I think carnation was also one of the listed notes on the box, which is like a peppery floral note. So that's adding to the spice element even more. So once again, from Dar Al Tib, this is Noon. All right, moving on. Next one's going to be coming from Thameen. This is Carved Oud. Thameen Carved Oud. All right, so if you're familiar with this scent, which I imagine a lot of you guys are at this point, it's basically a more intense representation of Tom Ford's Oud wood. Spice profile is almost identical. I mean, think like the cardamom cinnamon blend of spices that you get from Oud wood. It's for the most part represented in here. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, not a one-to-one, but same style. The woodiness in here is pretty much the same. You get some oud in this. I would say it's probably a more clear representation of oud that I feel has a little bit of a green woody profile to it. You definitely get some other woody notes as well to kind of smooth it out. A lot of patchouli in this, a lot of cypriol in this. So there's other elements to the fragrance that's not just spices and wood. But I mean, if you know the oud wood scent profile, that's basically a spicy woody scent profile. And again, this is just giving you that in a more complex way. So spicy woody fragrance here is what you get. So once again, from Thameen, this is Carved Oud. All right, last but certainly not least, this one's coming from Fragrance du Bois, and it's going to be London Spice. Fragrance du Bois, London Spice. So this one here, kind of similar to Danger. You basically get a couple of things blended with a spicy, woody base to the scent. However, with this one, it's not like this massive blend of spices and woods. It's actually pretty straightforward with this one. So I get lemon, I get lavender, I get a little bit of a minty characteristic, and then on top of that, you got this kind of cedar cardamom blend as the base of the fragrance. It's a really rich and intense cardamom. Doesn't really have the freshness you can kind of get from some cardamoms, and then just a really, really nice cedar wood. Yeah, so this is a fragrance where the spicy and woody element is more of the supporting role. Maybe the spice a little bit more so than the wood, but you got other things going on with the scent as well. But there's no denying that spices and woods definitely make up a big part of what this scent is in terms of its overall fragrance profile. So once again, from Fragrance du Bois, this one here is London Spice. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you're a fan of spicy, woody fragrances. What are some of your favorites? I would love to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you all. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.